and I'm going to do a quick recent Vines video. I'll just concentrate on 5 things that I picked up in the last few weeks. Some of them probably should have been in the last video, but I missed them. So the first item I'm going to show is a double record from Eric Clapton called Eric Clapton at His Best. You might recognize this if you've seen the Heavy Cream compilation. They look similar with the top load, embossed lettering. This At His Best is here, and embossed lettering too. That's two records in here on RSO. I guess the 2 songs that most people would know on here are Layla and After Midnight. And After Midnight here is credited to John J. Cale, not J.J. Cale. I bought this is from 1972, and I bought this because there's a bookstore I go to sometimes that has records in the basement, and they had a 25% off sale. So this was normally $12, which already was a good price, but it was $9 after the discount, so I picked this up. I'm not a giant Eric Clapton fan. I do have some Eric and the Dominoes and some solo records, but I thought this was a reasonably good price and something that I should listen to, I suppose. That's number 1. Number 2 is a band from Vancouver. This is Black Mountain. This is Black Mountain 4, which is their 4th record. And you might describe Black Mountain as psych, possibly. It's a rock band for sure. I've heard it called neo-psych, maybe even psych metal. One of those things where it's hard to narrow it down to just one label. I've even heard comparisons with the Brian Jonestown Massacre. That may or may not be true. I'm not too sure. I only have one of their releases. So, but on the other hand, Black Mountain, I have everything they've released. There's a Stonehenge thing in the middle. And I will pull out one of the records because, it has it's on colored vinyl, as so many records are these days. If I can get it out of here. So here we have yellow vinyl, and the label has that Stonehenge thing. The other record in here, there's 2 records, has the airplane from the front cover. So yeah, I think this is a really good record. It's heavy guitars in it, so it's definitely a rock record. Sorry, let's put that down. But on the other hand, there's also some orchestration in here. There's let's see, violin, viola, orchestra. There's French horns, but it is definitely a rock record. Like, it has that sound you'd expect if I said psych and guitars. It's good. I like it. They have a couple of side projects, but I think Black Mountain's great. If you ever see Black Mountain, you should definitely pick it up. The third item is something from a band I've showed before called the Besnard Lakes, who are, I think, originally from Western Canada, but now are in Montreal. Again, hard to describe this band. I've heard it described as shoegaze, indie, alternative, psych, that kind of thing. This record won the Polaris Music Prize in 2007. And I'll just read you what it says on this hype sticker because it's kind of interesting. First of all, it says introducing the Besnard Lakes, which is a bizarre statement because they had a record out in 2003, so this is not their first record. And yet it says introducing the Besnard Lakes. Montrealers by way of Western Canada who make finely honed experimental pop songs that recall the ambience of Roy Orbison or Salaban Glitz, the vocal harmonies of the Beach Boys, the ambition of Godspeed You Black Emperor, and the eerie Lynchian setting created by the music of Julie Cruz. These recordings include contributions from members of Godspeed You Black Emperor, Silver Mount Zion Memorial Orchestra, the Stars, and the Deers. Now, those 4 bands that are mentioned there are, I think they're all from Montreal, that Montreal post-rock scene, and they have some sort of crossovers of members and that kind of thing. That's lots of side projects. This is I think initially a husband and wife team, although they do have members of the band, but I think it's the husband and wife who were the foundation of the band. So this is really cool. It's, again, hard to describe what they sound like, but if you're interested, just go on to YouTube and look up a song called Devastation by the Besnard Lakes, and that will give you a pretty good understanding of what the band sounds like. I think they're great. I have a number of things from them. The next thing I'm going to show is from one of my favorite bands called Killing Joke. This is originally from 1994, but this record, this pressing is from 2020, so I didn't get it in 1994. I think some of those pressings were on colored vinyl. This is on black. There's 2 records in here, along with lyrics and some notes about this record. This is, I guess you'd say, they came back after a bit of a hiatus. I think they were gone for maybe 4 years. I haven't heard much about them. And the sound, I would say, is a bit different here. That's a heavier sound. 3 of these tracks were recorded in the King's Chamber in the Great Pyramid of Giza. I've read a bit about that. Sounds like an interesting project. But if you're interested in this band and you haven't seen the Death and Resurrection show, that documentary, it was on Netflix, but I think you can actually see it on YouTube now for free. It's a long film. It's, I think, over 2.5 hours. It's really odd because of the way it's filmed. I mean, every interview with Jazz Coleman, you only see part of his face, so you see like his mouth or from the nose down. I find it a little unsettling. And you really get a sense of how into the occult that band was, or members of the band was, and how just sort of the bizarre level of beliefs in that band. At one point, I think Jazz Coleman moved to Iceland, and another member joined him there, so the band sort of didn't really record much there. I'm a little confused with that because I saw the film, and it's hard to remember the storyline, but some strange things about this band. But again, one of my favorite bands, and I think this is from here on, I think they've done some really excellent work, and the early stuff. There was a few hit and miss periods. Brighter Than a Thousand Suns and Outside the Gates didn't really say a lot to me, but this is really good. That's number 4. Next one is from a band called Beach House. So this is called Bloom. This is on 2 records, on 45 RPM. And it's really a nice package because inside are these what appear to be inner sleeves, but each inner sleeve has another sleeve inside it, so you take that out and the record's actually in there with lyrics in here. This band reminds me a lot of oh, by the way, this is from 2012. This band reminds me a lot of the Cocteau Twins. I think many people have made that observation. The singer Victoria Legrand sounds a lot like the Cocteau Twins. So yeah, very interesting music. I think they're really great, and for some reason in the record stores I go to, there's not many Beach House records around. In fact, usually that section is gone, so I think maybe they're due for a re-up or something like that, because I don't see them that often. But these are great, and any Beach House record I think is worth getting. I should say that there's a new record out, and that one you can easily find. But if you're looking for some of the older things, I think they're harder to find now for whatever reason. So that's it. I did have a question about the video I put out on April 1st, because someone asked me, where did I get those records? Why do you have those records? Well, a neighbor had sent her child over with a bag of records that she got somewhere or found somewhere, and most of them were in really rough shape or were moldy or scratched up, and I immediately got rid of a number, but I have a box maybe of some that I'm just probably going to pass along, but it seemed like a funny thing to do. So yeah, I don't like those artists, in case you're wondering. Somebody also wondered if I like those. No, I don't. I'm not a fan of Engelbert Humperdinck. There's another Engelbert Humperdinck record in that box. I'm not a fan of John Denver or Dan Hill or Barry Manilow for that matter. So anyway, I think I got 1 or 2 thumbs downs on that video, which I've had a couple other thumbs downs in the past, maybe just 1. But it was funny to see that, because I'm not sure if everyone thought it was a joke or not, or if everyone understood that it was a joke, but it was intended to be funny. Anyway, thanks for watching again. I'll talk to you later.